No, well, it's turned out he's not close, and but it's not as bad as what we first feared. So I would say that we'll take it on a week-to-week basis. And when I say not close, he certainly, by the time we discovered what he had, which is that bone bruising, and that's one of those things that is very much a week-to-week proposition, because some people, depends on how deep it is and how it inconveniences people. That's all it is. It's a real inconvenience, and it's a soreness. But that could I don't say it clears up in a week, but it can be tolerated in a week. So we'll just weigh that up, how he trains. Oh, it was bad. It was a very bad performance. We were very ordinary. One thing you can't do is dwell on the past. You can't change the past. You can only learn from it. Oh yeah. There's no question about that. Life's about being tested. When you're in when you're in an elite sporting competition, which we are, you are going to be regularly tested. From the top side to the bottom side is regularly tested. Well, you're tested every week. It is, in fact, how you respond to the game you play, which we know was our worst game for the year. Take nothing away from Collingwood. They were outstanding. But I just think there's a lot of contributing factors, which on the surface you say, well, that's an excuse. We have no excuse for our performance on Friday night. So if we cut the excuses down to minimal, which is none, we say that I thought the efforts over the last month, and I'm not going to go back to week 5 ago. Okay, last month we've put enormous efforts in and have not got a victory. And I think subconsciously that is a draining effect. I've no doubt about that you can battle and battle and battle. But the great thing about that is to see who can battle again. Now, we didn't. So now the test is, you said the question, how we respond this week. The second phase is we come off an extremely wet game the previous week. And my major worry wasn't the fact that we got beaten. It was how we're going to come up for the following week. We lost a runner. Right, that was a clear indicator to me. A fit young man broke down, and I thought, he doesn't train with us, but I know he's fit. And I looked at the effect that it would have had on the players. Did it have any effect on Sydney against Melbourne? I don't know, because I didn't watch that game. One of the very few games I haven't watched. But I half suspect that when you chase a lead like we did against Sydney, it was almost a winning lead at quarter time. But we didn't allow it to be a winning lead. That you're just constantly under pressure to get there. And I wondered about how the players would respond the following week. And we lightened everything off. So, as I say, it's not an excuse. It's just I felt that we were a bit flat from that game. I still think that I'm learning about the group. We had a good, sizable lead. We lost a player, and for one reason or another, players tended to go back into their shell after that player went off the ground. And as a consequence, we lost our way and allowed Collingwood back in the game, and to the point where they took the game over. So there's a lot to learn. Every club, and I've mentioned this to several players, there's 18 clubs. From top to bottom will vary in regard to numbers, there's no question. The top side, and let's assume that Greater Western Sydney finish in the bottom. They're a side that may or may not be overly active. I don't know, because they've got young kids coming through. But if you're a top side, you will generally, historically, you make minimum number of changes to your list. The further down the list you go, the more you make. If we rounded off at, say, 7 to 10, I'm not saying this currently going to be 7 to 10, but let's say clubs round off to between 7 and 10, with rookies included, it's 180 players. So it's a big movement across the whole AFL. We are no exception to that change. It's our job in a competitive market, competitive sport, elite sport, to maximise the list. Every player here will be analysed. Every player will be analysed, like I have done at every football club. And that simply means that the scrutiny goes on players in good times, bad good losses, good wins, playing top sides, playing bottom sides. So there's a lot of characteristics of a player's yearly performance that can be assessed not on win-loss, not on stats, but on who you play and where you've played them and under what circumstances. So yes, the list will be scrutinised. No, because we weren't talking about the list at the beginning of the year didn't mean we weren't looking at every player. I mean, it's our job to look at every player. And let me just say this right now. It's not only our job to look at every Carlton player. We will look at every player. And if we believe that the recruiting panel come to us and say the draft is deep, well, we have a duty for this football club to maximise the numbers in the draft. And if it means they say you can pick as deep as 6 or 7, well, we're not going to ignore that advice. Who are the players?
Gibbs and Cruiser.
I can categorically tell you that Gibbs and Cruiser are untouchable. Now, I don't know how plain I can make that. All right? Do I need to make it any plainer? You like it? Is anyone else confused by those remarks? All right? So there we go. Untouchable. He's a dangerous player.
Do you think he should be playing?
That's not for me to say. Oh, I'd be surprised. I don't know why it needs to come to that. He's not the only player on a charge in the AFL at the moment. Oh, I'm very comfortable in playing. I've got no objection to anyone playing football. It's up to the club and the AFL. If the AFL sanction anyone to play football and the club wants to play him, there's no reason at all why I see players shouldn't be able to play the game. It's only if the sanction comes from the AFL or the club, well, they make that decision. We left out, on very strong advice from the AFL, Heath Scotland for 2 games. But we left him out.
And so do you feel like that's the same sort of situation?
No, it's a totally different circumstances because Heath had gone to court. So the way I saw it was a double whammy, but that's the way it turned out. I don't believe in double penalties, but that's how it worked out.
Would you be, I guess, Andrew Demetriou said this morning that he expects there probably will be a mixed reaction to Miller playing.
Well, I can't determine that. I don't get in the grandstand and barrack. Okay, so how it works, I don't know. Be very surprised at any adverse reaction, but I'm sure that when the siren goes, he's a 32, 33-year-old player. It's played for a long time. I don't think it's going to be bothering him too much. In what regard?
In how they approach.
I can't determine how people react. All I say is it's a game of football. You know, it's one of our great games. Let's do it proud. Top 6 or 7. No, I'm not talking about first 7 picks. I'm talking about 6 or 7 rounds. I'm not talking. What I tell you what, I'd like to be hanging out for the first 6 or 7 players. No, I'm talking. No. Let's read this right. 6 or 7 rounds. If the recruiting managers come back to us and say that it goes 6 or 7 rounds, then you've got a right to look at it. They might say, look, it's closed off after 3 rounds. But they could say also that there's ample number of players if you're prepared to look at what's 18 by 6, 18 by 7, if everyone uses that many numbers. Well, it's a non-exact science. Just off the top, Jimmy Hurd was 75. Ashley McIntosh was 150. Dean Kemp was 116. Dane Swan was in the 50s. There's plenty of first-round picks that haven't shaped up. So there's no witch hunt here to say to people, well, where you're hanging your hat on. There are 6 rounds of players, therefore that 6 should play league football. That doesn't work out that way because a 17, 18-year-old kid jumps up. He may be good, he may not be good, but you've got to take that on face value that the competition is well scrutinised, and I'm talking about the under-18 competition throughout Australia and elsewhere. You know, your players don't only come from under-18 these days, as we've seen. VFL, South Australian Football League, WAFL, etc. Ireland, have no fear of Etihad. Absolutely no. Believe me, read my lips, we have no fear of Etihad. The ideal situation is that you have key forwards that can hold their marks and kick their goals. So I mean, every club that's the wish list, is that you do enough work around the ground to get the ball into key forwards, whether it be 2 or 3 of them. I've always believed that you can get away with 3, but you only get away with 3 if you've got 3 people that are competent enough to catch the football and kick goals. So our leading forwards haven't kicked a lot of goals this year. Our target forwards have not kicked a lot of goals this year. Is it frustrating? I still think it's got a lot to do with youth. You know, you talk about Levi. He's a young man, hasn't played a lot of football. Jared Waite has played the most football, but can't get out there. Sam Rose played both ends of the ground and hasn't played a lot of footy at 26. Matthew Cruz has hardly gone forward. Sean Hampson injured himself last week, so he would have been in contention this week. So, you know, we're trying to get the right system in place for us. That's right, and that's why I don't get use Agar as an example. Did he fear going in batting against the best side in the competition in the world? Probably didn't have that fear. So what he doesn't know, he doesn't have to deal with. I come here having no fear of having sides play on Etihad, and I have great respect for any opponent. Great respect for any opponent. So therefore, that respect doesn't go one way or the other because we're playing St Kilda or Hawthorn on top of the ladder or Greater Western Sydney on the bottom of the ladder. So it makes no difference to me, and that's what we've got to make sure that players don't have any luggage about playing particular sides. No, everyone's got to take responsibility. Leadership's not about wearing a captain's badge. Leadership's about leading.